Good morning. Today we are going to discuss the various conservation laws associated with elementary particle interactions. The hundreds of elementary particles discovered can be classified into four categories: leptons, baryons, mesons, and field bosons. In the lepton family, there are six particles and six antiparticles. Electron is a stable particle in this category. Leptons don't have any internal structure. Baryons are particles with half integral spin. The only stable member in this family is proton. Mesons are particles with integral spin values. Baryons are three core compositions and mesons are two core compositions. As the baryons and mesons are composite particles, the number of possible states increases without any limit. There are hundreds of baryons and mesons. All these are already introduced to you in the first lecture. Today, we are going to discuss the conservation laws associated with elementary particle interactions. Before going to the conservation laws, let me introduce the resonance particle. Accelerators produce many particles for us to study. Most of the particles are unstable. Some particles have very short lifetime. Their lifetimes are so short that they do not travel far enough to be detected before decaying. Only from their decay products the existence of such short-lived particles is confirmed. These new types of particles are called resonance particles or resonance states. Delta plus plus is an example for a resonance state. Now coming to conservation laws. As you know, conservation laws form the backbone of physics. From mechanics, we know that momentum and energy conservation constrain the possible outcome of all processes. In the world of elementary particles, there are many other conservation laws like law of conservation of lepton number, baryon number, strangeness, hypercharge, and so forth. The discovery of such conservation laws was the outcome of a large number of experiments performed by a large number of people. Momentum, energy, angular momentum, charge, and baryon number are always conserved for any decay process. Lepton number is also believed to be universally conserved, but in many cases, conservation rule has been a conservation rule has been found to be obeyed only for a particular type of decay. For example, if you consider strangeness, the strangeness is conserved in strong and electromagnetic interactions, but not in weak decay process. Now we can discuss each of these conservation laws in detail. The first one is the law of conservation of energy. All decays and reactions obey the law of conservation of energy. In order to check the law of conservation of energy, you should have the information on rest mass and kinetic energy of all particles involved. If we consider the decay, the particle A decays to B, plus B and C. Then you should know the rest mass of all these particles and the kinetic energies of all these particles. Then you can check the law of conservation of energy. Here you can see that the sum of the rest mass and kinetic energy should be the same on both sides. Next is the law of conservation of linear momentum and angular momentum. These are conserved for all decays. Law of conservation of linear momentum means total momentum on left hand side and right hand side should be the same. If you consider this particular decay, PA should be equal to PB plus PC, where P gives the linear momentum of particles. Now coming to total angular momentum, the total angular momentum has contribution from both orbital angular momentum and spin angular momentum. In general, orbital angular momentum comes in integral steps, but spin angular momentum can be integral or half integral depending on the type of particle. That is, for leptons and baryon, the spin angular momentum will be half integral, and for mesons it will be integral. Anyway, the sum of the orbital and spin angular momentum is conserved in all particle decays. The next is conservation of charge. The charge is conserved in all process and no exceptions are known. For example, consider the decay process. A muon decays to electron, neutrino, and an antineutrino. Here you can check the charge on both sides. In most cases, the charge of a particle will be given as superscripts. But for particles like electron or proton, muon, and tau particle, it is not necessary to indicate their charge as superscripts. It is understood that electron, muon, and tau particles have a unit negative charge. A proton has a unit positive charge. Neutrons are neutral particles, and neutrinos and antineutrinos are also neutral particles. So here the total charge on the left hand side is -1. The right side you can add the charges of this particle. Electron, it is -1. These are neutrinos and antineutrinos are neutral particles. So the charge is 0, and you can see that the total charge on left and right side is same. Next is lepton number. We assign a lepton number of +1 for leptons, -1 for antileptons, and 0 for all non-leptons. Total lepton number is separately conserved for each type of lepton in all particle interactions. The word separately conserved is important. Now consider the lepton family. That is the 6 particles and 6 antiparticles. For all leptons its value is +1, for antileptons it is -1, and for all other particles it is 0. We know that in the lepton family there are 3 subfamilies are there: electron family, muon family, and tau family. Correspondingly, there are 3 lepton numbers: Le, Lmu, and Ltau. Le, here E represents the electron family. If you consider the electron lepton number Le, its value is +1 for all particles in the electron family, and its value is -1 for antiparticles in the lepton family. Its value will be 0 for all other particles. For muons and tau particles, this value will be 0. Similarly, we can define Lmu. It is defined for the muon family. In the muon family, for the particles, its value will be +1. For the antiparticles, its value will be -1, and its value will be 0 for uh, all other members. Similarly, for the L tau is defined for tau family. Here tau minus and nu tau are the particles. For its L tau value is +1. For the antiparticles its value is -1. Now we can consider an example. In this decay you can see that members from muon family and electron family are there. So we are going to check both electron lepton number and muon lepton number. Now coming to Le, the only muon is not a member of electron family, so its value is 0. It is a particle from the electron family, so its value is +1. It is an antiparticle from electron family, value -1. It is not a member of electron family, so value 0. L mu, it is a particle from the muon family, so value +1. It is not a member of muon family, value 0. It is not a member of muon family, value 0. It is a particle in the muon family, so its value is +1. Please don't confuse electron lepton number with its charge. The charge of an electron is -1, but its electron lepton number are +1. Electron lepton number only depends whether the particular particle is particle or antiparticle. If it is particle, its value will be +1. If it is an antiparticle, its value will be -1. Next is baryon number conservation. The baryon number is +1 for baryons, -1 for antibaryons, and 0 for all non-baryons. So the baryon number of leptons or mesons or field bosons will be 0. All decays and reactions conserve the total baryon number. That means the sum of the baryon number should be the same on both sides of a decay process. So here you can see that these are all particles in the baryon family. So its baryon number is 1. These are some antibaryons. So its value is -1. These are not baryons. So its value is 0. Here you can see on example a neutron's decay to a proton, electron plus antineutrino. So neutron is a baryon, value 1. Electron and neutrinos are not baryons, so its value is 0. Proton is a baryon, its value is 1. So the baryon number is same on both sides of the equation. Next is conservation of strangeness. Certain mesons and baryons are produced via strong interaction, but they decay via weak decay process. They are always produced in pairs. Due to this strange behavior, we assign a strangeness quantum number S to them. For lambda 0 and sigma particles, the strangeness value is -1. For psi particle, it is -2. For omega particle, it is -3. It is not the strangeness of these particles, that is chions. All chions don't have the same strangeness value. For k plus and k0, the value is +1. But for k minus and k0 bar, the strangeness value is -1. The strangeness quantum number is not conserved in weak decays. Next is hypercharge. Hypercharge is equal to the sum of strangeness and baryon number. So if you know the baryon number and strangeness of these particles, you can easily write down the hypercharge of that particle. Since the hypercharge is sum of baryon number and strangeness, for non-strange baryons, the hypercharge will be same as baryon number. And for mesons, the hypercharge will be same as its strangeness. And for leptons, they are not baryons and they are not strange particles. So the hypercharge of leptons will be 0. Hypercharge is conserved in strong and electromagnetic interaction, but in weak decay process, it is not necessary that the hypercharge is conserved. Next is conservation of isospin. Isospin or isotopic spin is a quantum number defined for hadrons. Hadrons with the similar properties. It means the nearly identical mass and same quantum numbers like baryon number and strangeness are grouped into isospin multiplets. For example, if you consider proton and neutron, their mass are almost identical and their B value and S values are same. So we can consider it as a single you can consider it as a multiplet. Also for the sigma particles, or for all these particles, the strangeness value is same. And the mass of these particles are almost identical, so it forms another multiplet. For the lambda 0, it form a there is no other particle in this multiplet, only one particle is there. In the case of psi 0, there are two particles. For pions, there are three particles. But also please note that the chions forms two multiplets, because while mentioning the strangeness values, you have mentioned that the k plus and k0 have strangeness +1 and k minus and k0 bar have strangeness -1. So these particles have different strangeness value, so they form two different multiplets. K plus and k0 form one multiplet and k minus and k0 bar form another multiplet. Now the isospin and the multiplicity are related through the equation m equal to 2i plus 1, where m is the multiplicity and I is the isospin. So for example, if you consider lambda 0 or omega minus, here only one member is there in this particular group, so their multiplicity is 1. 2i plus 1 value will be 1. On solving this equation, you will get I equal to 0. If there are two members in the multiplet, m will be 2. On solving the equation, you will get I value as half. If there are three members, multiplicity will be 3, and on solving this equation, you will get an I value 1. I is conserved only in strong interaction. It can be violated in weak and electromagnetic interaction. Next is the third component of isospin, I3, or sometimes it will be labeled as IZ. Isospin can be represented by a vector I in isospin space whose components in any specified direction is governed by a quantum number, customarily denoted as I3 or IZ. The possible values of I3 are restricted to I minus 1, I minus 2, etc. up to minus I. It is just similar to the angular momentum and its Z component. But it should be noted that we assign positive I3 values to the higher positive charge members of the multiplet. So here neutron and proton form a multiplet, so it's multiplicity 2 and I value is 1 by 2. So IZ can have two values, 1 by 2 or -1 by 2. But here proton is higher positive. Proton is the only positive member in this family, so we will assign plus half to proton. And when you are considering the sigma particles, I value is 1, so isospin Z components will be 1, 0 and minus 1. So plus 1 will be assigned to sigma plus value, sigma plus particle, and 0 to sigma 0 particle, and minus 1 to sigma minus 1 particle. If you consider this particular multiplet, your multiplicity is 2, therefore I value is half. So two I3 values will be there, plus half and minus half. When you compare these two particles, psi 0 is higher positive compared to psi minus. Therefore, you should assign the plus half value to psi 0 particle. That is why IZ value of psi 0 is plus half and this particle is minus half. And a similar case here also, k minus and k0 bar, I value is half, so IZ value can be plus half or minus half. But here k0 bar is higher positive, is k0 bar is higher positive compared to this particle, so we will assign the plus half value to k0 bar particle. I3 is also conserved in strong and electromagnetic interaction, but may violate in weak decay process. There are some more symmetry operations. Parity operator changes the sign of all spatial coordinates. Each elementary particle has an associated intrinsic parity, either odd or even. Electrons and baryons have even parity, while most of the bosons have odd parity. All particles and antiparticles with half integral spin value have opposite parity. That means electron has even parity, but its antiparticle, that is positron, has odd parity. But both mesons and anti-mesons have the same parity. Next is charge conjugation. Charge conjugation operator replaces all particles with their antiparticles, whereas time reversal operator replaces time t with minus t. So to view the time reversal result of a given process, the process should run backward in time. Parity, charge conjugation, and time reversal are not conserved in weak decay process. Now, under the combined operation of charge conjugation, parity, inversion, and time reversal, all interactions are invariant. Absolutely no exception to this symmetry of nature have ever been found. So, now we can conclude. This table gives you an overall idea. For all decay process, energy, linear momentum, angular momentum, charge, lepton number, baryon number, and CPT are conserved. But for electromagnetic interaction, the isospin value is not conserved, but its third component is conserved. For weak decay process, strangeness, hypercharge, isospin, its third component, parity, charge conjugation, and time reversal are not conserved. Now we can try to solve some typical problems. The first type is whether the following reaction is allowed or not. For all decay process, energy, linear momentum, angular momentum, charge, lepton number, and baryon number should be conserved. But if you are not provided with sufficient data, you cannot check the energy, linear momentum, or angular momentum conservation laws. For example, if you consider this particular decay, you have no idea about the rest mass and kinetic energies of these particles, so it is not possible to check the conservation laws of energy, linear momentum, and angular momentum. But you can check charge, lepton number, and baryon number. So we have checked the charge, baryon number, and lepton number. Of course, there are no lepton family members are here, so anyway the lepton number will be conserved, and you can also see that the baryon number and the charge is conserved. So this particular particle decay process is allowed. Here one member from the two members from the electron family is there, so we also check the electron lepton number, and you can see that in the left side the electron lepton number is 0, but here it is a particle from the electron family, so its value is +1. It is also a particle from the electron family, so its value is +1. So its value is not same on both sides. In the left side it is 0 and right side it is 2. So it is not conserved. So this particular particle decay is forbidden. The next type of problem is name the conservation law violated if any. Here you have to check all conservation laws. In this case, you can see that charge, electron number, baryon number, strangeness, isospin, and IZ values were written here. You should memorize the strangeness values of particles, but if you know the multiplets, then you can easily write down the isospin value, because for a proton and neutron form a multiplet, so I value will be plus half, and the proton is higher positive compared to neutron, so the plus half I3 value goes to proton, and neutron have a minus half I3 value. So you can see that the lepton number is not conserved and the IZ value is also not conserved. Next type of problem is identify the type of decay. Here also you have to check all the conservation laws, and here you can see that charge, baryon number, strangeness, isospin, and IZ, all these values are conserved. So it will proceed by a strong interaction. If the I value was not conserved, then it should proceed via electromagnetic interaction. If strangeness value was not conserved, then it should proceed via weak interaction. Another type of problem is identify the missing particle. For example, a positive ion collides with a proton. Two protons plus another particle is created. What is the other particle? Here also you have to check the various quantum numbers. Here charge, baryon number. You can check, and here the left side the charge is plus 1, and the right side, sorry, left side the charge is plus 2, and the right side also the charge is plus 2. So this particle should be a neutral particle. But the baryon number on the left side is plus 1, right side it is plus 2, but baryon number should be conserved, so the baryon number of this particle should be minus 1. So the information is this particle is a neutral particle because its charge is 0, and since the baryon number is minus 1, it will be an anti-baryon. So now you can guess the particle. Actually there are so many particles satisfying these two conditions. That is for neutrons the charge is 0, so if you consider the anti-neutron, the charge will be 0 and baryon number will be minus 1. And if you consider lambda 0 bar, the charge will be 0 and baryon number will be minus 1. If you check the strangeness value also, you can see that the left and right side the strangeness value is 0. So if the strangeness is also conserved, then there will be only one particle, that is a non-strange particle with the charge 0 and baryon number minus 1. Which particle? It will be an anti-neutron. In the next lecture we will discuss the quark model. These are some typical question: what is hypercharge, what is lepton quantum number, give an account of various quantum numbers associated with elementary particles. Okay, thank you.